Did you know that over 80% of you who watch my videos aren't even subscribed? So if you enjoy what you see, please consider subscribing with the post notifications on. And let's see if we can hit today's like goal of 50 likes. Thank you. Hello everybody and welcome to my apartment. There's probably going to be a lot of noises throughout this video because apparently living in a city is really loud. But before the video started, I just wanted to quickly apologize for my lack of videos lately. I know I uploaded a video last week, but up until that point I hadn't uploaded for like 2 or 3 months. So I am sorry about that, but keeping it $1.50, my mental health has not been very great lately, and that's a main reason as to why I didn't upload videos. I think the main reason my mental health wasn't doing that great was because I was putting way too much pressure on myself. Towards the beginning of the summer, I was working every week, 40 hours a week, at a job that I loved, but it was really physically and emotionally exhausting. On top of working every single day, I was also trying to exercise every single day, because when I get comments almost every day from people saying that no one will ever love me because of my physical appearance and that my physical appearance is the reason why I have all these problems in life, that usually makes me pretty self-conscious. I know, isn't that crazy? And yeah, those comments can be really hurtful, but at the end of the day, I'm exercising more for me, for my own health. At least that's what I'm telling myself. And on top of that, over the summer, I was actively seeking out internships, and I kept telling myself if I don't get any internships for the fall, that I was going to be a failure and have no job out of college. But I really just drove myself into a hole trying to accomplish all these things. I know I'm 21 years old, and it feels like I'm having a midlife crisis, which I hope I'm not, because that would only mean that I'm living till 42, and I'd like to live a little longer than that. But in today's video, I wanted to talk about worrying about the future, because that's really what has consumed me over the past couple weeks. So hopefully me talking about my experiences helps you in some way. Maybe it will, it probably won't. So as I said, I've been struggling a lot when it comes to worrying about the future. And a lot of these worries had to do with my future post-college, because for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a rising senior. And let me give you a little bit of backstory so you fully understand this. For the longest time during my life, I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life. And then by the time I graduated high school, I just had to pick something. And that was something that I never really liked about college, is that we're always expected to just know what we want to do for the rest of our lives when we're like 18. But I did the newspaper in high school, I did the morning news in high school, so I decided to pursue a degree in journalism. And I did that for a few years and I actually enjoyed it. I liked writing, I liked producing video content, I liked sports broadcasting, but deep down I knew after a few years, I was like, hey, this is fun, but this isn't something I want to do for the rest of my life. And then of course the panic sets in because I'm a little too far to change my major because I was going into my 3rd year, and I was like, I'm pursuing a degree for something that I don't actually want to do. And then I had all these thoughts running through my mind saying that I'm a failure and that I'm wasting money and that once I graduate college, no one's gonna want to hire me, I'm wasting my time, blah, 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 and I just got consumed with all these negative thoughts. And it's not like I really have this YouTube channel to fall back on because, spoiler alert, I don't really make a lot of money. But keep in mind, up until this point, I still had 2 years of college, yet I was still preparing myself for this doomsday scenario. I was having thoughts race through my head, I was having sleepless nights, I thought I was a failure and that I was wasting my time, all that fun stuff. But then I just had to take a step back and just reevaluate things. The thing about journalism is that it's not just writing, it's video editing, it's video shooting, it's producing, it's broadcasting, it's podcasts, it's so many different things. So instead of constantly worrying about this stuff, I decided to make a plan. So I was like, okay, well, I do like journalism, so why don't I try to pick something from journalism that I can use and kind of explore that further? So then I had to think to myself, well, what am I good at? And you're probably saying, Eric, you're not good at anything. And you may be right about that, but I would like to think that I am good at some things. I like to think that I'm good at social media. I'd like to think that I'm good at editing YouTube videos, and by editing videos, I mean I just crop the camera whenever I say a joke. And yes, I had never taken a social media marketing class or taken any of the proper classes, but I would like to think that I'm somewhat experienced into this whole social media landscape. So I decided during my junior year, when the whole COVID thing was starting to hit, I just started applying to social media internships. Anything I could find. A lot of them were remote, but I was just applying to things and seeing if I would get an email back. I think the worst thing is when I don't get an email back, I keep worrying and I'm like, did I get it? What do they think of me? Am I ever gonna hear anything from them ever. And that just really stressed me out. I don't know the logistics of sending a copy and pasted email to every single candidate who didn't advance to the interview process, but I don't know if it would really be that hard. And then when I wasn't hearing back from people, I started worrying again, and I started to doubt myself. And I was like, who's gonna want a journalism student with a YouTube channel that's dying, and the only videos that ever get views are when he makes videos about Bumble? But then after all that worrying going into my junior year, I managed to find an internship. It was an internship for a video agency company. I ran their social media, mainly their YouTube channel. I edited videos, made graphics. I was doing stuff that I liked to do, and I also learned a lot in the process. So then that anxiety started to go away because I had a plan. I accomplished what I wanted to do in my plan, which was find an internship. And then I was like, okay, I have an internship under my belt. I feel a lot better about myself. So then that internship ended towards the end of my junior year, and now I had the summer to worry about. Now, admittedly, I don't think I did a very good job of applying to things. I think I was kind of lazy in that regard. And I saw all my friends doing summer internships and doing stuff in the city and gaining all this valuable experience while I was just sitting there without an internship. And instead of getting an internship like a lot of my friends were getting, I got a summer job. It's actually the same job I've worked at for like the past 6 summers. And for those of you who don't know, for the past 6 summers, I've actually been a camp counselor, which is a very rewarding job, and I actually really enjoy it. I primarily worked with 4 and 5-year-olds, and I had a great time. But the problem in my head was that I've been working at this job for 6 years. There's no like real growth in regards to like my career post-college. It's a great job, don't get me wrong, but it's not really in the field that I want to go into. And up until that point, there were only like 2 or 3 people that had been there as long as I have, and I was working with like people who were 16, and then I was like, man, like I'm working with a bunch of teenagers, and I'm an adult who can legally drink, and I just felt like I had outgrown it. I'd just seen people who had worked at that job before go on to do bigger and better things, go get internships, go get other jobs, and I was just still there for 6 summers in a row. So then the panic starts to sit in again, and I started thinking like, oh, I'm a failure, I can't believe I didn't try harder to get a summer internship, and it got to the point where it was affecting my sleep, my mental health, my anxiety. So I had to take a deep breath and just slow things down, because I noticed when I was worrying about the future, my performance at my actual job wouldn't be where I wanted it to be. And I was like, look, I have a commitment to these kids, I have a commitment to my job, I need to step it up. So what I decided to do was I was gonna try to keep my energy up at work, I was gonna try to give it all I had, but then when I would come home at like 5:30 to 6, what I would do is just apply to internships for the fall. And I think the hard thing is one, having the energy to apply for things after I had worked 8 hours every single day, but also half of the battle was finding internships to apply to. And it wasn't often that I found an internship that checked all the boxes. And then when I would find those internships that I thought would be beneficial, I would never hear back from them. But then I just had to take a deep breath, and I know that sounds cliche, but I really had to just be like, it's still the summer, you still have time to find a fall internship, it's not the end of the world. And I think the thing that really helped with my anxiety and worrying about the future the most was having a plan. So my plan was just to apply to as many things as possible and just try to give myself as many opportunities as possible. And if things didn't go my way and if I couldn't get anything, I at least know that I tried. So I kept finding places. I think in total I probably applied to like 10 to 15 different places. I spent hours revamping my resume, overthinking every single word of my cover letter, researching these companies that I was applying to. And again, I just kept doubting myself because every time I would apply for something, I would never hear back. And then I found this one internship, and I'm gonna be honest, when I saw this internship, it immediately checked all the boxes. It was in all the things that I wanted to learn more about. I thought I had the necessary skills. I thought it would be really beneficial for my career. And I also thought I could make a difference for that company. But at the same time, it seemed really competitive. They were only selecting one intern. And when I saw that, I just doubted myself. And I almost didn't even apply because I was like, well, there's no way they're gonna pick me. I almost talked myself out of applying, which is ridiculous. But eventually, I just decided to bite the bullet and apply. And then the next day, I received an email saying, hey, we wanna interview you. And I was like, oh, cool. Because up until that point, I hadn't had anybody reach out for an interview, and that kind of helped with my confidence a little bit because I was like, okay, well, at least someone thinks I'm worth this thing. And I did the interview. I thought it went well. I did it in my mom's car during break at work, and I didn't have the AC on because I didn't want the AC to interfere with the audio, so I was baked in sweat, kind of like I am right now because I turned the fans off in my room because it interferes with the audio, and it's really hot in here right now. But as I said, I thought the interview went well. Yes, I was caked didn't sweat, but I thought it was okay. But then I learned that there was going to be a second round and only 2 people were moving on. So then the panic and the doubt starts to set in again. I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to pick me. There's clearly more qualified people. Well, guess what? You probably see where this is going, but I actually did move on to the second interview. I did the second interview. I thought it went great, but I then doubted myself again because I was like, oh, I'm probably going up against another qualified candidate who's probably even more qualified than me. I'm not going to get this. And once I had done the interview, I hadn't heard back for a few days. And then I was thinking, I was like, wow, I don't think I got this position. And the summer was already starting to end at that point. Like we were reaching towards the beginning of August. Internship applications were beginning to close. So in a panic, I applied for like a few more internships that were closing their application deadlines or whatever, like literally at the last minute. So as I was panicking and worrying, I got an email saying, hey, you actually got that position. And this is what I want to hammer home here. It's okay to worry about things. I feel like that's normal. But I feel like where it can get bad is when it's keeping you up at night, it's preventing you from functioning in your day-to-day life. And I know it's hard for me to be like, don't worry. Trust me, I get it. People give me that advice all the time. Sometimes they're like, hey, why aren't you confident? Just be confident. Or they're like, why are you anxious? Just don't be anxious. These are things that like people actually say. And I don't know if this advice is gonna work specifically for you, but it worked for me. So here's what I'm gonna say. I think it's positive to think positively. Okay, I didn't really think that out. But it is important to think positive thoughts, but also have a plan, because my anxiety just went like that once I was giving myself a plan. Once I was mapping out, applying to all these different internships, once I was giving myself these backup plans, like, hey, if I don't hear back from this one place, maybe I can get this place. And I know the idea of finding an internship and worrying about your future post-college isn't something everyone can relate to, but I'm hoping maybe, you could maybe see some things that you could do if you're worrying about things. I'm in a much more confident state of mind right now, and I'm much more happy about my future. I'm super excited about my internship. I'm super excited to do something that I'm passionate about, and I'm really excited to just be back in Chicago. But now that door is closed, now I have something else to worry about, because now I've decided that I'm gonna try to tackle my physical health. I'm on this workout program right now that I'm going to stick to. I am gonna accomplish my goals. I'm gonna try everything in my power to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do this YouTube thing weekly, but I hope you understand that sometimes I just gotta do what's best for myself, and right now I'm just really passionate about, getting my schoolwork done, doing well in my internship, and also improving my physical health as well. I feel bad when I can't get a video out for people, but I really need to start putting myself first somewhere. But yeah, if you're gonna take anything away from this, have a plan. I'm not gonna tell you to just stop worrying, because that's the least helpful advice ever. Whatever you're going through or worrying about, I guarantee it will be all right in the end. You can do this. You got this. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. Also comment down below, what did you think of the video? What did you think about the things I talked about? How do you overcome maybe worrying about the future? I'd love to hear your experiences, if you're comfortable with sharing them, of course. Also, make sure to subscribe. We are so close to hitting 5,000 subscribers. Also, I forgot to give a shout out to my channel members in the last video, so I'm sorry about that, but shout out to Joey, Will, Alex, and Rocky. Thank you to you four for being members of the Eric Moran Films channel. If you want to be a member, it's linked in the description below. It's $3 a month. You can support my channel. You get cool little emotes. I don't know. It's fun. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.
On a grind, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday going strong. Kill it how I do it, TNT, we blowing up. Level up, game never stop, showing love. Tell the haters keep it real, my time is on.